Alright, so today I'm going to explain how I've set up this iscar and the do's and don'ts from what I've figured out so far. As you can see, I got a 1/2 inch iscar chatterfree, and I'm using this crazy tool holder that they gave me. I got one sitting over here. So it has a exact fit collet, so it doesn't expand more than just 1/2 inch for what it set into. As you can see, the threads are actually on the outside, and the tool holder is really, really short. So it gets it really up in the spindle, and it's supposed to take a lot of the run out. It's good for, I think it's G2.5 rated. So you have to make sure it's really, really clean, like doctor's office clean when you put this thing together. And I typically put some lubrication on the inside that touches the outside of the collet, and right there inside the captive nut, just so when I tighten it down, it doesn't have any unregistered torque. So back to this tool portion of it, I'm running it dry. You see I got an air hose set up. I took this little piece off the side of it, blowing air on it to help get the chip out, but it seems to throw it pretty well. As you can see, it's got some pretty nice blue chips that come out of there. There's 2 things or 3 things it doesn't like. It doesn't like coolant, especially this coolant. It seems to chip it around the top edge. It doesn't like scale. So when you go to machine something, this stuff on here, it doesn't like that at all. It seems to chew the cutter out, and I don't know if I can zoom in on this or if it'll show up at all, but you can see that notch right there. And it goes all the way around. That's exactly where the scale hit it. And it starts sparking after that. And right now I'm working with a 514T1, so it seems to work hard on the surface. And this is the tool that followed it and just chipped it out. Another thing it doesn't like is uneven surfaces. So what I ended up doing with this block is I had to deck all the edges with a 3/4 inch end mill, and then put it down in the vise. And then from that side, I have to deck this side, and then take off the top too. So I have to use a facing insert mill that I use, and a 3/4 inch chatterfree on the outside. I just take the full pass. It's a pretty good sized tool. So essentially I'm starting out with a block that I stick in there, and right off the gate, I go around the outside, I face it. I'm using a Nexus cutter over here. And then once it's done machining, or once it does that, I put that side down into the vise, and then it goes ahead and it machines my part from the top side. Now, I've reprogrammed it to deck the outside edges and the face. It doesn't like unknown material because it'll load up and push it too hard, and it just ends up snapping the tool. And then after that, when I flip the vise and hold onto it this way, you'll see that's what I'm working on this side. So the previous video shows me doing the pocket portion of it, and now on this side I'm going to end up doing the entire profile outside of this line. And I know a lot of people are thinking, you know, we'd rather just saw cut it on one side, saw cut it, or put it on a water jet. It's 3 inches thick, and she'll cut through it in no time. But actually, to hold on to this thing and to have a decent edge, it's going to cost us about 74 minutes on an 87,000 psi flow. So for me to profile, rough, chamfer, finish, rest mill, all that other happy jazz, it only takes me 40 minutes on this machine complete. I was talking about op 1, op 2, op 3, and I have a part when I'm done. As you can see, there it is, sitting over there. So on the programming side, here's something to look forward to. Let me see if the screen will register a little bit. Focus, focus, focus. So let me go to edit. Now, if I can get this thing to focus, one of my top codes that I have in here before I start this, there we go, now it shows up. Let's see, face mill, end mill. This is the wrong program. I'll reset on this one. You'll see right in through, right there, G187P1 E.05. So this G187 is the roughing profile that you use for this Haas machine, and then I have it set to P1 to rough. You can change it to P2 for medium, so I have to go back and forth. My E.05 ends up being something to do with the corner rounding. And inside Mastercam, I had to program it to have a 0.005 arc tolerance, so that way it would move a lot slower, as well as when it goes around a circle and it backfeeds, it's going to go in and rub, like it'll cut, and then when it does a lift back, it's a micro lift of 5 thousandths high and 830 inches a minute, and it comes back in and jumps back into a 319 inches per minute cut. But the radius that when it comes out in, I had to make it larger so that way it wasn't trying to go in and make the small radius and come back, because it was causing the machine to hesitate while the tool was still touching the piece. So you want to open that arc up. It's on the back feed portion of Mastercam if you're using a dynamic toolpath. Yeah, open it up a little bit larger. And you might have to go in and rest mill a few areas, but it compensates for the time that it stutters at that small portion. As well, you have to change the arc tolerance, obviously to 0.005 or 0.003, depending on what you're working with. I'm just roughing with this tool, so I have mine set to 5 thousandths. You have to change in the bottom portion of it. It has to go from linear points, kind of like NURBS and splines, to where you can change it to a G17 radius setting. So that way it does arcs more than lines. I guess this machine does not seem to like lines as opposed to arcs. So with that being said, let me go into my program here. Edit, nope, memory, T10, all right, T10. I got a lot of indexes in here to make my tool change a little quicker. Now let's finish pocket, rough deep index. All right, okay, so how I have this thing programmed, and you'll see when it runs, it'll pick the tool back up. It's got to go through the programming now. So I have it, when it comes down, it stops a little bit above the surface, and I put in an MOO or M00 so I can turn the air on and then make sure that all the coolant is free on the surface, and then start the program. Let's go and do a tool change. Now I have the doors open, so it's going to obviously do that tool change a lot slower. Normally it's like 1 second or something less than that. So I'm going to turn the air on and I'll get this party started. Yeah, the glass is a little foggy, so I'm going to open the door a little bit while it runs. Hopefully I don't get burned. All right, here we go. And then you should be able to touch the part. It should be pretty warm to the touch, but not one that's going to burn your hand. The tool should be like kind of like, just a little bit. And there you have it. This is all rough cut, but it does the job. And I believe so far with this tool, just playing around with it, I've gotten around 325 cubic inches of material removal. And that whole program, including the tool change, was 4 minutes and 24 seconds. So hopefully this helps you guys out. If you have any questions, just write some comments below, and I'll be sure to get back to them as soon as I possibly can. Enjoy your day.